There's one power, invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power, indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth. As simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power.
Such is the nature of life that all it asks and all it wants is the opportunity to appear. You are that opportunity, and so am I. So it is. Welcome to CSL Midtown on this fun November day. So with that, I'd like to welcome everybody here. Whoever you are, whatever path brought you here today, please know that you are welcome and celebrated. We know who you are. You are an individual expression of the divine life in which we all live. You are life's opportunity to be someone unique and wonderful, whatever your ethnic background, religious affiliation, however you know yourself or describe yourself. We are glad you are here joining us today. You are welcome to be part of this community in whatever way serves you. And here's our vision statement. We are a strong, open, globally connected community centered on the clarity of principle through teaching, service, and practice. We create a safe and respectful environment that supports healthy spiritual growth. And for a better understanding of who we are and what we teach, listen to our Declaration of Principles as written by our founder, Ernest Holmes.
A few of the declaration of principles we live by.
I believe in one God, one absolute power, and first cause to all things.
I believe that this power is perfect love, and it creates out of a desire to express love.
I believe all thought is creative, and how I choose to think creates my personal experience.
I believe in the unity of all life, and the immortality of the individual soul forever unfolding.
I believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of God to all.
And so it is.
So grateful, hey.
Welcome back. So, a practitioner is someone who's demonstrated the ability to use spiritual practice and spiritual laws to bring about great changes in their lives. They've demonstrated that they know how to bring about these changes in others when asked. Licensed by Centers for Spiritual Living, they are available to you to provide spiritual guidance and support in those areas where you're looking for assistance. You can contact them through our website, cslmidtown.org. Today, we have one of our amazing practitioners with us to share good ideas in an affirmative prayer called a spiritual mind treatment. Welcome, Norma Roberts.
Good morning, Vance. Good morning, Vance, and thank you for that wonderful introduction. And good morning, CSL members and family, friends, and everyone who is here to join us this morning. Our theme this month is loving the unlikable. But we should take a moment and consider just what control over this we as individuals have. There are times when carelessly or unconsciously tossed or spoken words can start fires. Perhaps just smoldering embers in the beginning. And then someone or something adds fuel to the fire. A few more thoughtlessly expressed words, such as assumptions, false beliefs, and fears. And the fire ignites and spreads, says Reverend Marilyn Johnson. She goes on to say We have a choice as to what we will give birth to as co-creators of spirit. Do we seed our consciousness with seeds of lack, loss, limitation, anger, resentment, and blame? Or can we birth the seeds of cosmic love? Can we in some way love the other? We can know that what we are seeing or experiencing is only one side of the experience, one aspect, one perspective. But we can shift our thinking and open our minds and hearts to see the whole picture. We must begin to notice what we support with our thoughts, words, and action. We should stay away from adding drama to simple facts. Notice when you're coming from worry, anger, fear, or resentment. Notice where the feeling is held in your body. Then move your awareness to your heart center so you can speak truth. Look for the intrinsic value in all things at all times, no matter what is going on. There's nothing to heal or change out there. We need only to observe and be open from within to how life wants to express itself, to experience itself more magnificently through us. Let go of the drama, assumptions, false beliefs. We can align our soul with cosmic love and then love the unlikable. You can do it. All right, let's go in, settle in for our morning treatment. So I invite you to join me in our treatment today. Just settle where you are. Be with me as I speak in the first person. Accept whatever resonates with you and just let go of whatever else there is. We can know there is but one life. That life is God, and that life is truly my life right here and right now. All power, presence, life, and love are God in its fullness. I open my heart and mind in conscious connection with the one life, and in so doing, feel His presence within and around me. My awareness expands, and I realize even more that it is what I am, and I am the revelation of that it is. As I turn my attention to that which is once called undesirable, I search for the good that I know is within it, and I open myself to the free flow of life and accept that I am guided and led every step of the way. I now rest in the knowing of this divine eternal truth. God in all, through all, as all. I speak boldly and claim the highest and best I can conceive in this moment. Knowing my word comes into expression even as I speak. I declare right now that life and death is in the power of the tongue as I release every situation, condition, or experience that may have held me bound. I know my strength today is greater than any struggle I may have had. I accept change in my life, and I do not fear the unknown which lie ahead. I am secure in the knowledge that my good is greater than ever, for it agrees with my new God consciousness. I choose to be happy now. I approve of myself, loving myself deeply and completely. I claim perfect health and enjoy renewed energy and vitality. I state my expanding prosperity and watch my income, sharing, and investment grow. I discover loving friends by greeting everyone I meet with love and respect. My self-expression grows dramatically through my awareness of spirit, filling my life with its presence, joy, harmony, balance, and guidance, which are mine today and every day. I am grateful for this truth and its perfect demonstration because I know the law has already done its work. And I rest in the knowing that all is well. And so it is. And now we'll have music. Have a great day. Namaste.
You're my life, you're my breath, you're a smile, you're my guest. You're the earth, you're the sun, you're the grass, you are love. You're my hands, you're a bug, you're my eyes, you're a hug. You're the light in the dark, you're the spark, you are fun. You're my mom, you are water, you're the stars, you're my daughter. You're my friend till the end, you're my dreams, you're my father. You're the ants on the ground, the miracles that surround. I'm feeling it all around, the hemisphere in the clouds. You're my pain, you're my sorrow, you're my hope for tomorrow. You're the strength when I'm hollow, you're the path that I follow. You're the blessings that exist, the small things that are bliss. The gift to realize that everything
All
is a
that
gift.
I am, all that I see, all that I've been, and all that I'll ever be is a blessing. It's so amazing, and I'm grateful for it all, for it all. Grateful for it all.
You're the blessings every time I try to count. You're the lessons that I learn every time I turn around. You're the water when I'm burned every time I think I found everything I'm looking for. You're the sign saying stop to take a bow and keep moving forward and start looking towards your heart. It'll open all the doors and only then you'll start to hear the world singing chorus with your mind and heart. Aligned in purpose, everything
All
will feel
that I
gorgeous.
am, all that I see, all that I've been, and all that I'll ever be is a blessing. It's so amazing, and I'm grateful for it all, for it all.
Every day I sit and pray cause what I have is more than I deserve or could ever imagine. How do I give back to all of this magic and spread the love so everybody can have it? Doesn't matter if I'm rich or poor, if I got a family or if I'm all alone. Bad things happen, I can just complain and moan. But there's a million things that I can be grateful for.
So I lift up my hands now, and I open my heart, and my gratitude goes out to everything near and far. All that I am,
Everything I am and everything I see, everything I hope and everything I dream, everything I feel and everything I be. I look deep down and feel all the blessings. Everything I am and everything I see, everything I hope and everything I dream, everything I feel and everything I be. I'm grateful for it all. It's amazing. Everything I am and everything I see, everything I hope and everything I dream, everything I feel and everything I be. I look deep down and everything I see, everything I hope, and everything I dream, everything I feel, and everything I be. I'm grateful for it all. It's amazing. You're the blessings that exist, the small things that are bliss, the gift to realize that everything is a gift.
I want to thank Nimo and Daniel for that wonderful song. And it's my pleasure to introduce our speaker this morning, Reverend Cynthia Paulsen. Reverend Dr. Cynthia Paulsen is an interfaith and religious science minister, a divine science spiritual practitioner, motivational speaker, and author. Her sermons and workshops are deeply rooted in New Thought principles, inspiring personal growth and transformation. She's the author of Undoing the Knots, Reclaiming Our Good, and she's finished her Doctor of Divinity with the Emerson Institute. She's writing a new book, That Good Thought, coming early next year, and she's happy to be living in Brookings, Oregon. Welcome, Cynthia.
Thanks, Vance. So happy to be here with you all, CSL Midtown. So here we are, Sunday before Thanksgiving. Holy cow, where has this year gone? So this Sunday is typically the Sunday where the talk is about gratitude, where a well-meaning minister is going to tell you how important it is to be thankful. We got to be grateful. Now, gratitude is an amazing spiritual practice. I highly recommend it, and I am definitely not knocking it. But I don't know, that kind of talk sounds potentially a little boring. You don't want to hear that talk. I don't want to give that talk. We all know how important it is to use gratitude and to be grateful. So, what is the new spin on this? How can we look at the idea of gratitude a little differently, maybe a little bit more creatively? So, let's start with why we might be bored by the pre-Thanksgiving gratitude talk. I think we get bored because it can feel a little bit like, well, duh. You know, when we're reminded to be grateful, our minds automatically go to the people and the things that we love and that we're thankful for. Duh, we love our family, we love our children, we love our parents and our friends. We're so grateful to have these people in our lives. We love our homes. We love where we live and our communities. We love our spiritual community. We love the planet. We love nature. We're grateful for all these things. We love our fur babies and our pets, our dogs, our cats, our animals. We're so grateful for them. We're grateful for, when we stop and recognize our abundance and really how comfortable our lives are. Gratitude is powerful. No doubt about that. We know that when we are in a state of gratitude, we end up naturally attracting to us more people and things to be grateful for. That's how it works. But I have to wonder if we're doing it right, if we're just focusing on having gratitude for the things we love and the things that we hold dear. Is there another more expansive way to approach this spiritual strategy, a more inclusive way, to think about what we're thankful for and what we might appreciate? As Norma reminded us this morning, the CSL global theme this month is loving the unlikable. This idea, loving the unlikable things like annoying people who we disagree with. There are plenty of those out there, right? Challenging situations that we would prefer to avoid, and even unlikable things like those creepy, crawly animals and bugs that we find gross. Yeah, those ugly, unlikable animals. So, this month's theme is about reframing those perceptions and transforming unlikable things into lovable things. That sounds really hard. I don't know about you. That sounds really hard. But if we can get to a place of love for these things that we naturally don't like, then maybe we could be grateful for them. So why would we want to do this? Why would we want to, look at things in this new way? We want to do this because it deepens our understanding of the infinite nature of God. It's all God, everything, right? I think we all agree on that. This is actually, this is what we believe at Centers for Spiritual Living. In fact, the first statement of belief in the Declaration of Principles, written by Ernest Holmes himself, says, "We believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation." All of it, even the things we don't like. It goes on to say, the manifest universe is the body of God. So everything we see in manifest form, everything that exists, is God. So the manifest universe, all the things we like and all the things we don't like, all of it. Whatever it is, it's all God, it's all good, it's all one life. So everything that we are typically grateful for, like the things I listed a moment ago, the things we love, they are all part of the manifest universe, which is the body of God. The human beings that we listed, our family, our friends, all God. The earth, nature, obviously, all God. Our communities, that's all, one life in expression. Our animal friends and the pets that we're grateful for, part of nature, part of the manifest, universe, God in expression. So let's talk more about animals, specifically the unlikable ones. This is really where I'm going to focus today. What are some of the animals in the manifest universe in nature that we typically just don't like, that are generally considered unlikable? Now, the title of my talk mentions 3 unlikable, creepy crawly animals that most of us don't care for. And I know I kind of teased you with it because it's like the beginning half of a joke. A mouse, a cockroach, and an ant walk into a bar. That is the name of my talk. So I'm going to tell you the full joke, but before I do, I have to apologize in advance for how stupid it is, okay? So the story goes like this. A mouse, a cockroach, and an ant walk into a bar. Pest control was called the next day. Yeah, that doesn't even deserve a badum-ching. It's so dumb, sorry. Of course, pest control was called the next day. Rodents and insects, ew, they're gross, okay? I said it. We don't have these animals as pets. I don't think people love mice, cockroaches, and ants. Ew. We certainly don't love them in our homes or in a bar for that matter. Probably nobody tuning in here feels deep love and gratitude for those particular animals. But could we? Could we be thankful for these things that seem so unlikable? So I've got 3 short real life example stories for you where a person I know has ended up shifting their mindset to gratitude for either ants, cockroaches, or mice. So first, let me tell you about my dear friend Julie. I adore Julie, and her birthday's on Tuesday, so happy birthday, Julie. Julie and I met because her dog looks like my dog. She lives in my neighborhood and she was walking her dog by my house and I was like, "Oh my God, that looks just like my dog." And we started chatting and we ended up becoming friends. Julie loves all animals. She is vegan because of her deep, empathic love for animals. She's not a Buddhist. In fact, she has gone to Unity churches her whole life. So we have that new thought connection too. Um, so she's not a Buddhist, but she does follow that Buddhist tenet of, do no harm to all life. Buddhists recognize the unity of all living beings, as do we at Centers for Spiritual Living. And that applies to all animals, even the ugly, creepy, crawly ones. So, just to give you an idea, this is what it's like being friends with Julie. If you are walking into a store and she notices a little roly poly bug, like a pill bug, on the floor inside the store, she will stop and pick it up and carry it outside. One time we were hiking with our matching dogs, and we were on this trail, and right in front of us in the middle of the trail was this wounded butterfly. It was alive and its wings were flapping, but it really wasn't flying away from us as we were walking. So she stopped and she scooped it up and she took it off the trail and put it on a little bush so that it wouldn't get stepped on and it would be safe. So Julie goes out of her way to protect all animal life, and it's very charming and sweet. But here's what happened. Julie discovered ants in her house. In her kitchen. They were on her kitchen counter where she prepares her food. And, we live on the Oregon coast, and ants love our climate because it's very mild and there's a lot of moisture. So they're pretty prevalent out here. Well, she could not kill them because of her beliefs. So what did she do? Well, you name it, she tried it. She used non-lethal natural repellents, things like vinegar, peppermint oil, tea tree oil, citrus, cinnamon. She would use these things and disrupt their scent, the ants' scent trails. She moved a lot of them outside by hand. She focused on prevention by constantly wiping down her kitchen counters and, properly sealing up her food. She talked to the ants. She talked to them and asked them to leave. And this woman is not crazy. I talk to animals all the time. Um, all of these things that she tried helped, but it did not completely solve the problem. So, guess when she saw improvement with her ant situation? She saw improvement when she researched what the ecological purpose of ants in our area was. The ecological purpose of ants in our area where we live is soil aeration, nutrient cycling, and seed dispersal. They're doing something, okay? They're not just a burden and annoying us. These are things that the ants do that help the soil and it contributes to the biodiversity of the land. Well, Julie happens to have one of the most beautiful yards, really, that I've ever seen in this town. Both her backyard and her front yard have no grass, and they're full of natural native plants and shrubs and these big, beautiful pine trees. So when she realized that those ants were helping her yard, she was able to very easily go from a place of frustration and irritation to a place of gratitude. So much so that now when she happens to see an ant in her house, the first thing she says is thank you. She really she really does talk to her ants. Now, I do want to say that none of these stories that I'm sharing today with you are coming from a place of you should think like this too. You should act like this too. We don't really do that in New Thought, CSL, Unity. We don't tell you how to think. We don't judge you and how you live your life. But I am sharing these stories from a place of you could think this way, maybe just hearing this new perspective, something to think about. So before I move on to the next story, I have a little segue question for you. It's from a book that came out back when I was in high school. It was very popular. It's called The Book of Questions by Dr. Gregory Stock. And it's full of like questions for personal growth and conversation starters and like ethical questions. And one of them applies to our topic today. The question is, for an all-expense paid vacation anywhere in the world, could you tear the wings off a beautiful butterfly? Most people, of course, would automatically, I think, say, no, of course not. I couldn't do that. And then the follow-up question is, could you step on a cockroach? I think, unfortunately, a lot of us could say yes immediately. Where is it? I'll do it right now. Which, by the way, I did a lot of research for this talk, and you're never supposed to step on a cockroach. Did you know that? Stepping on a cockroach can spread bacteria and pathogens in your home. So Google says you're supposed to like wrap it in a paper towel and dispose of it. What does that mean? Dispose of it? I don't know. Anyway, it begs the question, does a beautiful creature merit more compassion than an ugly, unlikable one? If so, why? I don't have any answers for you with that. It's very thought-provoking, though. And from a spiritual standpoint, the butterfly and the cockroach are both part of creation. You know, they're both here for a divine purpose. Both of them are part of that manifest universe, which is God in expression. So here's a cockroach story for you. This is something my daughter experienced. And by the way, I got permission from everybody to share these stories with you. My oldest daughter, Kensington, she goes by Kenzie, is 27. And a couple of years ago, she decided that she desperately wanted to live on her own in an apartment by herself. She had lived for many years with roommates. She'd lived with three roommates, or two roommates at the beginning, and then she had one roommate. And then this last place she was in had, I swear, five. It was a huge house. I think she had five roommates. So she made this decision kind of urgently, you know, and she just kind of rushed into moving into the quote only apartment she could afford on her own. It is so expensive for young people these days to live on their own. Well, it was not ideal, this place that she moved into. In her words, she referred to this apartment complex as a dump. Now, her apartment was adorable. I mean, I went and stayed with her. It was very, very beautiful. But her mindset was that she was living in a dump alongside other people who were comfortable living in a dump. So several months go by, and she's all settled into this new place, and she begins to see cockroaches in her apartment. The complex was lackadaisical in their response. They sprayed a couple times. It was ineffective. And now, just in case you're wondering, this girl cleaned her apartment every other day. Every other day. She was mopping and bleaching and vacuuming. Yeah. So that wasn't the issue. The infestation progressed and got so bad. I'm sorry for grossing you out. They were in her bed and they were biting her. Did you know that cockroaches can bite? They don't typically bite. They do when the infestation is very bad because they're hungry. Ew. Ew. Okay, so fortunately, this is my New Thought kid. She loves New Thought, loves to listen to mom. Mom's a New Thought minister, licensed spiritual practitioner at her beck and call, right? We had countless telephone conversations, deep conversations, where she would ask me, Mom, what is going on in my consciousness to reflect this kind of living situation? You know, what's happening to, what am I thinking to create this kind of problem? What is the root cause of this from a metaphysical standpoint? These are the things she would say to me. Now, again, I got her permission to share this with you. What we discovered through a lot of deep inquiry and discussion was that Kenzie was holding the belief that that kind of apartment was what she deserved to live in as a young adult trying to make it on her own. A roach-infested home. She had an attitude and mindset of living in a dump. And the manifest universe said yes to that. The universe always says yes to our thoughts and beliefs. She also realized she was being very complacent about her worthiness and stepping into her truth of her abundance and being a contributing member of society. So we treated, Lord, did we treat? And in a matter of 17 days, she was let out of her lease free and clear, refunded for her last month's rent, given her full deposit back. She qualified on her own for a newer, nicer, safer, larger two-bedroom apartment that she was able to fully move into, all within 17 days. But here's where the gratitude comes in for these nasty, creepy, crawly expressions of God. Kenzie realized and truly believes that if it weren't for that roach problem, she might have stayed in that low consciousness state of mind and continued feeling like that about herself. She wouldn't have gone and applied for something better and even tried. So she has now reframed the whole thing. She is grateful that those cockroaches ended up reminding her to pay attention to her thought process and her beliefs, to consider what she was worthy of and what she deserved. Did I raise a new thought kid or what? We do have to pay attention to our consciousness, and we have to be careful of our frequency and how we are vibrating. Diego, if you would put the first quote up, there's an Abraham Hicks quote that says, "You can't rid the world of things that bother you. You've got to rid your vibration of the things that bother you." Which, by the way, being in a state of gratitude does that. And the quote continues, "When you rid your vibration of things that bother you, no things that bother you can come." That is a great thing to think about. Okay, how about a mouse story? This one is my story. I got to take a breath. Whew, and it is very embarrassing to tell. First, I have to say that phobias are real. A phobia is an intense, irrational fear of an object or situation that is out of proportion to the real danger it presents. That is the textbook definition of a phobia. It is a diagnosable form of anxiety disorder. Musophobia is the irrational fear of mice. And friends, I suffer from this. Yeah, I'm not being cutesy or funny. I'm just being honest. I don't know why. I have been to therapy for it. We don't know why, okay? I did not know that I suffered from this particular disorder when this story takes place. Those of you who know me know that I'm happily married to my husband. He is my second husband. But for this story, we have to go back in time to when I was about 23 years old. I was married to my first husband. We had been married about a year. We had no children at that time, and I began to suspect that I had made a mistake marrying him. And we separated. And I moved into this little apartment that was it was a converted garage apartment, and it was all that I could afford on my own. That sounds familiar. This apartment had a little living area and a tiny kitchen, and above the kitchen sink was a window that was actually like at ground level. And I remember it had terrible insulation. You could like see through the gaps between the window and the wall. And also, as part of this apartment, it had this steep stairway that led to like a loft area where I slept, and there was a bathroom up there. Within a couple days of moving into this apartment, I noticed what looked like mouse droppings on my kitchen counter. Julie thinks the ants are bad. I mean, ew, yuck. And I remember thinking, nope, that's not what that is. Just stuck my head in the sand because I was 23, And that night when I was in my bed, up in my little loft area, all the way up those stairs, I swore I saw this little shadow scamper across my living room or my bedroom to my laundry basket. So I did the bravest thing I've ever done in my life, and I got up and I just touched the laundry basket, and sure enough, a mouse darted across the room and down the stairs. Now, I'm not even going to get into what I did next. Uh, the way a person with a phobia reacts is insane, irrational. That's part of the definition. Remember, it was an irrational reaction. I left that apartment violently. I can laugh about it now, just throwing things everywhere to make sure that no mouse could possibly get near me. You have to understand that at that time in my life, at 23 years old, I did not have the benefit of new thought wisdom. I did not have a spiritual practitioner mother to call. I certainly did. It did not occur to me to mindfully examine my thoughts, beliefs, and consciousness. Or, it didn't occur to me to, explore what I thought I deserved, whether I believed I could be independent and strong and successful, any of that. So, believing that I had nowhere else to go, I ended up reconciling with my husband at that time because of a mouse. I told you it was an embarrassing story. I absolutely believe that had I not experienced that situation with the mouse, with mice, because I'm certain there were more than one, I likely would not have reconciled with him. And we went on and stayed married for many difficult years and ended up having 3 children together, 3 daughters. He was still who he was, I was still who I was, and the fact is that sadly that marriage did not survive. It ended in divorce. But 3 amazing, beautiful, brilliant young women are in this world today because of that union. I choose to have gratitude for this animal that I not only don't like, but have an intense rational fear of. And I can hear you now thinking, girl, that is a leap, okay? That is a leap to go from a silly mouse in your apartment to that mouse is the reason your children exist. Like, that's a huge leap. Absolutely. Yep, it is. I am the first one to admit that, but it's my leap. That's the cool thing about our thoughts and beliefs. We get to control those. I can choose to think this way about that experience and be in a state of gratitude regarding those unlikable things. I mean, I could continue to rant and rave and complain about mice, or I could speak of this story in a way that has the most incredible positive outcome and be grateful for it. We're always able to reframe our perceptions and expand the way we use gratitude. All it takes is a little, self-awareness and some effort on our part. So whether we're grateful for the ecological purpose of a creepy crawly animal like Julie and her ants, or grateful for the nudge to pay attention to what we're believing about ourselves, like Kensington and her cockroaches, or whether we can look back at a situation and be grateful we experienced the traumatic, unlikable thing, like my mouse story, to realize that spirit was actually present in it all. How could it not be? It's all God. However, we want to consider that. We can choose to see anything we don't like in terms of how is this God in expression? What could the larger picture be? What could, the larger story be? What's the greater purpose here? And even if I can't figure it out, I can still trust in that because the divine knows, surely. So I'll wrap this up here. There's a quote, and Diego, if you could put this quote up for me. A quote from Ernest Holmes that says, "It is not a question of likes and dislikes. It is only a question of what is so and what is not so." If it's here in manifest form, it's an expression of the divine. It is here for divine purpose. It doesn't matter if we don't like it. We can choose to have gratitude for it and for whatever that the purpose might serve. So your takeaway for today is to remember that we don't have to be in a state of fear and loathing for all the unlikable things. And I'm sure you're realizing this obviously goes far beyond just the creepy crawly animals. There are a lot of unlikable things out there. Where else can you apply this? CSL Midtown, I love you guys, and I am very thankful for you.
Can she see us?
No, well, right, yeah. Hey. All right. Thank you, Reverend Cynthia. What an interesting talk this morning. It was amazing in the thought processes you went through and came to the result of. So thank you so much for that talk. All right, now it's on to our time for prosperity, and we want to thank every one of you. Well, I could do our new. Yeah, I'll do this. Our new Minister Sacred Covenant Easy Prayer. So I'm going to read this. You can read this along with me. You can download this from our website, cslmidtown.org. It's right at the bottom of there. So there is only one life. This life is good. This life is God. This life is my life now. In knowing that I am one with this life that is God, I therefore know that I am one with all of its blessed expressions, which includes the presence of a new minister for my beloved spiritual community. Because I know that the highest purpose of my new minister is to express Spirit, I therefore know that my new minister is a revelation of Spirit as principle. I further know that my new minister is the fulfillment of that which has been promised by God. For it is written, principle is not bound by precedent. It operates according to the law, and it is always available to those who are willing to align themselves with it. As I stand in agreement with my beloved community, I see my new minister before me as inspiring spiritual oneness through wisdom, love, and authenticity. And now I intend to experience my new minister in full cooperation and agreement with my community, knowing this truth about myself. For I am inspired to live as love in the expression of principle. I am awakening the wisdom within me by clearly communicating the principles of truth. I am a conduit of divine love, wisdom, and healing energy, recognizing the inherent wholeness within all beings. I'm offering teachings, classes, and mystical studies grounded in spiritual principles to cultivate inner wisdom, personal transformation, and empowered living. I'm extending the love, compassion, and transformative power of Spirit into the wider community, fostering connections that heal, uplift, and support individuals in their unique journeys. As I now accept the highest expression of a new minister into my new life, I know that they will be revealed in a way that will express Spirit and serve the highest and greatest good of all who are touched by their presence. I am grateful God is gracious, and so it is. Now, time for conscious giving. You can donate at cslmidtown.org/donate. You can use the QR code, scan the QR code. That will take you right to the same site and donate. You can set up a one-time donation or ongoing donation to help our spiritual community grow and thrive. And say with me now our affirmation of prosperity. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. And now we got a couple of announcements. One thing, the West Georgia Church of Religious Science is having a special concert this afternoon. They are They have a special minister in who was doing their talk this morning. It starts at about 1, so, and it was a little late. They didn't give us a lot of update to that, but that's something we'll do ongoing, is communicate with the other communities around Atlanta for different things that are going on. So I just wanted to make you all aware of that. Reverend Cerise is an amazing singer. So if you're in the West Georgia area, out near Villa Rica, it would be a good place to go and enjoy some good singing. Next week we have Reverend Kit Holmes back with us again. The theme for that week is the soul of an octopus, which would be interesting. Our adult study group meets at 10 a.m. on Sundays on the Zoom group. You can go to the CSL Midtown.org site, scroll down to the Zoom link, click on that, and then put in the passcode that will take you to the meeting. And that same link can take you to the discussion group we have after the meeting to discuss today's talk with Reverend Cynthia. So let's say our affirmation of life and move on. I leave this place now knowing something better than I knew before. I go forth into the world with a heart full of love and a mind full of good sense. I look at the world in a greater way, knowing that I have within me everything I need to create the life I desire. I give thanks for this understanding, and I am grateful for the spirit of life that lives through me. And so it is. We'll see you all next week. Or over on Zoom.
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. Hey! Oh yeah. Grateful. I just say I am so grateful every day for all I have. Every day. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all I have. Every day I say it. Grateful. How I'm grateful. Every day. Oh yeah. I am so grateful. Oh yeah. I'm so grateful. 'Cause I accept and I receive. I am so grateful. Oh yes, I am. I am so grateful. Hey, grateful. I just count my blessings. Grateful. I just count my blessings.
There is a power for good in the universe greater than you are, and you